folks, Mike McConville here from Stratford, Ontario, Canada. Today's topic is going to be compensated nuts. I don't think you can beat Leo's initial Fender Stratocaster bridge. Those saddles go up and down and back, and you got like a half an inch of travel one way or the other. And the whole idea behind this, of course, is when you pull the string down to contact the fret, you're stretching the strings. Like when you do a blues lick, you're stretching the string. Well, what happens? The note goes up in pitch. So because the note goes up in pitch, each of those individual saddles on a Strat, 6 saddles, 1 for each string, you can compensate or lengthen the string to counteract the sharpening effect of bringing the string into contact with the fret. Okay? That takes care of this end of the scale. Now, going to the other end of the scale, the nut. If I take a rubber band, right, I stretch it like this. When you stretch that rubber band out, the center is very loose, but when you go to this end and push, it's quite tight. So this end essentially represents the nut of the guitar. Well, the nut by design needs to be high enough for the strings to clear the fingerboard. So what ends up happening is you end up having sort of back tension at the nut. And again, going back to that rubber band, you go really close to that point where we've stretched it, and it's quite tight in comparison to the middle. We went to all this trouble on the bridge end to compensate the string for the sharpening effect. But the other end of the scale has never really been addressed, right? This is an issue, right? And this is why when you play all those first position garden variety chords, you're constantly reaching for the tuners to kind of compensate and correct your tuning. So essentially what you're doing when you do a compensated nut is you're intonating and changing the values of each string across the nut, all 6, altering them slightly, just like the placement on the bridge. Each string is in a slightly different place. And that, in a nutshell, is compensated nuts.